Hey guys, it's Justin back with an engineer's perspective, and in the spirit of the Victorinox video I did, today I'll be talking about what is in my knife block. So there they are. These are the knives I use every day. I do rotate these out with other things just based on whatever I'm feeling, or if I'm experimenting with something, or if I get a new knife. But what I've put in here for this video is if you told me you cannot own any other knives for the rest of your life, all you can have is what is in this knife block, this right here is what I would have in there at this moment in time. I do have a couple things over there that I will throw in, but I'm just going to talk about what I do have in here. So the block itself is actually a Shun block. I don't know what they call it. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots. So 8 slot knife block presumably. Let's start at the top and work our way down. So at the top, this is a Dickoron 12-inch round fine cut sapphire honing steel. These are very, very high quality, overly high quality. I don't recommend anybody buy these unless you're a nerd like me, which I am that nerd, so I bought one. I use this on my German knives, and I'll use this on some Japanese knives, depending. But I don't keep the ceramic one in there and I have experimented with it. I just feel like the ceramic one tends to leave a burr, whereas this more straightens out the edge but doesn't leave a fresh, nasty burr on there. So I've been preferring the actual steel. And yeah, on the ceramic, this is an Idaho 12-inch ceramic one. I'm not fully saying that this is not what I'm about, but right now I would definitely choose the steel over the ceramic. So there's that in the little steel slot. Next up is the Miyabi Mizu 240 millimeter Kiritsuki in SG2 steel at 63 Rockwell. This is my go-to prep knife. So anytime I've got a big prep job making chili or some sort of soup or a casserole with a bunch of potatoes in it or something, this is the prep knife I reach for. I like the SG2 steel in it. Don't love it, but I really do like it. Comfortable handle, good balance, good cutting feel. And then it's got pretty good non-stick, or I'd say not non-stick, but food release. Good food release on this guy. So I really prefer this over full flat grinds for potatoes especially. So really like that one. Keep it sharp on a stone and strop it once a week or so. So that's my prep knife. And then this is my oh shit, I work from home, so oh shit, my family's gonna be home in 30 minutes and I need to whip out a meal knife. This knife slot is one that gets rotated out the absolute most, but if right now you made me pick just one, surprising to me, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's the Wusthof 8-inch Ikon. This is definitely a great beater knife, a great oh shit knife, but I would have expected from myself for it to be something a little bit slicier, but just the way I've gotten to know this knife, I just really like it. There's just something about it, the balance, the feel, I don't know. I just love this knife. It has awful geometry relative to every knife I own, kitchen knife that is, but I just really love this knife. Yeah, I just really do. So some examples of knives that I would rotate out with it. This is the Messermeister 8-inch Meridian Stealth chef's knife. And then another one I would rotate it out with is the Takamura 210 millimeter Chromax Gyuto. And then one other one is this 170 millimeter Tojiro DP Santoku here in VG10. So those are the most common ones that rotate through that slot, but if I had to choose one, it would be the Ikon. I don't usually keep the Chromax in there unless I'm just really feeling like, using a sexy thin knife. But usually this is my like, oh shit, let's get some stuff done knife slot. So the Chromax does not fit in there, the Takamura. So next up, this is my wife's knife. This was the first nice kitchen knife I ever bought, and it was also of Japanese style. I wouldn't call this a straight up Japanese knife, but it's a Richmond Artifex II in CTS BD1N at 63 Rockwell. It's just got a handle pinned onto there. And it comes with very thick geometry. I've done a lot of work to thin it out. I think it's like 13 thou. No, it's gotta be thinner than that. I think it's more like 11 thou behind the edge now. It came like 15 or 16, just something ridiculously thick. It's a terrible cutter, but this would be a good knife if you bought it as like a oh shit knife that, I'm trying to make something happen like this. But has harder steel. And that's why my wife uses it. She just started using it and just got really used to it. I've had really, really good experience with this BD1N. It's at usually keep around 14 to 16 degrees per side. She has never chips it. It holds its edge really well, especially considering her not very nice use of it. It's very stainless, it doesn't rust. She leaves it with, orange juice on it and lemon juice and in the sink and all that good jazz. This knife's held up really, really well. She just likes it. So I don't use it very much because usually its edge isn't where I like it to be. But she does, she likes it. So it's a good knife. It's a good knife for that role. So there's that. It sharpens up really nice. I think CTS BD1N, if I could just say it's the best, if there is one best kitchen knife steel that I could live the rest of my life happy with, I think I would say BD1N at 63 Rockwell. So next down is a very weird one. This is a 6-inch Victorinox Fibrox boning knife. It's the Super Flex. So if you can see back here, that baby has got some wild flex on it, but it is ridiculously thin behind the edge, 8 thou, and then the spine of this baby is so thin. I use this as my like utility knife basically, and because it's curved, I can make board contact with it, so I use this a lot for like cutting up oranges and apples and things like that. So I have a really weird love for this knife. It doesn't really belong in this block, but I keep it there because I love it. I am trying to replace this with something that makes more sense. And an example of that is this Tojiro DP Bunka, I guess, 160 millimeter. And I don't like this knife very much so far, but I wanted something that was still small, because the reason why I like this size factor is a lot of the times my wife will bust out a very small cutting board, and I don't like using big knives on small boards, but I don't like getting another board and getting it dirty. So I wanted this smaller size, and I like the Santoku, but it doesn't fit in this knife slot. As you can probably see there, you've got a good 3/4, half-inch sticking up there. So got the Bunka. It's just ground a little bit too thick. The blade road isn't tall enough. The knuckle clearance is okay, but not great. Like, my knuckles hit the board less using this than they do using this, go figure. So this is an honorable mention for that slot. Another one, this is a boning knife. I do use this on chickens regularly, but a knife that I also love just as much as this is this Tojiro DP 150 millimeter Hanasuki. And for a while I kept it in this slot because it definitely deserves to be there. But the problem was I wanted a more versatile knife than this. And this just wasn't cutting it in terms of versatility. So I just leave this in storage and I pull it out when I've got a chicken to break down. And I've been doing that less recently actually, just due to time. But anyways, that's the one that goes in there. Next up is this guy. This is a more recent acquisition, but I like it. This is a Kikuichi 150 millimeter petty. It's from their, it's their molybdenum line. I forget what it's called. Ooh, excuse me. And it's kind of like a mini Gyuto. The knuckle clearance is almost non-existent on it, but the way the blade, I have a review on this, but the way the blade is shaped and with the handle the way it is it doesn't twist in my hand, and I can hold back on it, and I can make really good board contact with this without sacrificing my knuckles. And then the other thing is, if I just back that board up to the edge of the counter, then my knuckles are back here where they don't touch. So I've really been enjoying this. It's not as thin as I thought it was gonna be, but I really like this knife. And this is one that I do hit on that steel too. And then last knife is another Wusthof Ikon. This is the 3.5 inch, I believe, paring knife. And this is like my oh shit, I need something right now. Like, oh God, you know, I don't have enough fat in the pan, so let me just grab the butter out and just cut it on whatever surface is available knife. Or, you know, oh, I forgot to cut up the strawberries or something. Let me just rip those out or whatever, you know. So I really like this paring knife for that. I just like it in general. It's a good paring knife, yeah. Yeah, I like the German style of it because of the kind of beater place that it holds. So I've kind of got a mix of German and Japanese cutlery in here. What is it? 1, 2, 3 Jap and 3 German. I don't really have any other paring knives that I switch those out with, so that's kind of it. And then the last thing is, I don't even know who makes these scissors. They're just kitchen shears, but they're amazing. When these things die, I'll probably buy one of those Tojiro ones to keep in here, but my wife and I just use these as like utility scissors. I don't use them on like chicken or anything. I've got separate scissors for that. So these are just everyday scissors that just live in here. Yeah. So that's it. That's kind of the explanations behind them all. So, you know, I've got a prep knife, and I've got the smaller like line cook knife, I guess. And then kind of utility knives. These ones kind of overlap now, which is why I'm trying to phase this one out for like the bunka sort of a thing. But I just like it a lot. And then my paring knife, and then scissors for random shit. So that's my knife block. I'll go grab, I keep steak knives in here. Most of them are in the drawer, but it's just a little Wusthof 6 steak knife holder. It doesn't match because I'm a Neanderthal like that. I just wanted something to hold the steak knives so that they weren't taking up room in the drawer. But yeah, works just fine, it's whatever. And these are just a bunch of, I guess, KitchenAid steak knives. They're fine, you know, they're nice, they look nice, they work good, whatever. So that's it. That's my knife block. That's if this is all I had for the rest of my life as far as I know right now, totally happy with that. But, you know, still swap out this guy a lot and haven't found the perfect placement for that slot, but that's it. So thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.